game.
Oh, our first player, king of the thumbnail game. He is the Blue Zerg player from Germany, representing the Shopify Rebellion. The man who has gained infinite power since growing a beard. It is Lambo.
And his opponent up in the top right-hand side in the red, representing the wholesome, the good, the lovely Team Liquid. He is, of course, the Netherlands, Harstem.
Follow your camera for this one, Creighton, if you don't mind.
Oh, all right. Well, if I must, I'll do a little bit of work here instead of sitting back eating donuts during the match. Excellent. That's the big benefit for those of you who've never run a StarCraft stream before. If you're doing production, the biggest benefit of not observing is that you can absolutely chat some shit in the Twitch chat while the other person has to, move their camera around and show you interesting things the entire game.
My hair looks really good, man.
I haven't even noticed it yet. Oh, it does look good, Grant. Congratulations, buddy. When was your last haircut before that one?
Oh, like 2 months. My hair grows so fast, I have to have it cut like every 6 weeks.
Wow, okay.
It goes really fast. A problem that I'm not sure you're massively familiar with.
No, I'm not. Just in places I can't talk about. Little hatch gas pool action for Lambo here, as he's got his third base forced out, and he doesn't have his natural down yet. That should be coming very shortly, I think. I like that he's been forced to third base, but honestly, on 2K Atmos, I don't think it matters a whole lot. Grant, he's going to be just fine defending his base, and if nothing else, it'll give him some extra creep spread if he wants to be aggressive with like a roach push or something in the mid game.
Yeah, no, we've seen a lot of Lambo. We've seen the way he's been playing often in this tournament. The way he's been playing is he makes 7-8 queens and he marches across the map. 2K Atmos is a pretty decent map to go on a march with. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And it's a build that Protoss has been struggling to deal with. It is extraordinarily aggressive. I hate to use the word all in, because if you do enough damage, even if you lose your army, you can survive. So we'll keep an eye out to see if there's going to be that Roach Ravager push. Harstem is a player who I imagine will play Stargate. Plays a lot of Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very standard Protoss player, and there we go, the Stargate does go down as I say that. Who is likely going to play Oracle, I imagine. He might go Void Ray. But again, I see him more as a traditional, he plays the style that everyone played throughout all of 2020, 2019. And he just does it better than most other Protosses in Europe. He doesn't have a very unique, like say Showtime, he is going to defend. Harstem does everything well. His micro is very good. I'm not sure. I can't find criticism of Harstem, I think. He just sometimes loses to builds. Lambo is pretty similar. I've seen him. He's a little bit more capable. It's going to be that Void Ray. He's a little bit more capable of throwing aggression out there. We've seen him do a lot of 3 or 4 base builds. But again, very, very good in the late game. If this goes hyper long, I'd probably favor a Protoss player. I do think Harstem plays that longer style of game a little bit better. But Harstem... But it's so close. I cannot pull this one.
Yeah, it is going to be super, super close here. Void Ray finishes up, and we'll see the Oracle after that. I'm so excited, Grant. Void Ray into Oracle is so standard, and as you said earlier, giving a lot of options to Harstem here. Second Stargate, sure, totally plausible. Twilight Council into Robo, totally plausible. Late Glaive to Depth push, sure, why not? Dark Shrine, of course, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Harstem gets his third base down in time, and now really the onus is on Lambo to get a scout out, see what he's up against, and really interesting, know where these queen creep tumors are being placed, Grant. One on the very north side of his third base, which does mean he's going to have a very far ahead creep spread. So if he is going for some sort of early game, mid game pressure, this is going to be a great time for him to be able to spread that creep forward a little bit more. Yeah,
I think we are going to see a queen walk here. The creep spread, as you said, is very indicative of this. We're already going up to 6 queens. We'll see if he adds on a 7, 4, and 8. 6 is an okay number to do this. Drone count going up into the low 50s. I'm not certain he's going to go massively higher than that if he is planning a queen walk. Adding on the 3rd and 4th gases is... Okay, no, it is just a 2nd and 3rd gases being added at the 3rd there. I kind of like that because our Protoss player may come in and think that is 4th and 5th gases. Or 5th and 6th gases, I always get that confused, and think he's playing against something a little different, like quicker lurkers or hydras or something along those lines. Robotics Bay coming down, that's very here for Harstem, or very well timed, off of the back of only 4 Adept, 1 Void Ray, 2 Oracles. And right now, I'd say everything is what I kind of expected from this game. Harstem likes to expand off of little gateways. He's only got 2 at the moment. Robotics Bay off of 2 gateways is pretty greedy, to be honest, in terms of technology advancement. And Lambo is going to be spreading creep. He's got that Roach Warren. He's spreading the creep, as we said, towards the third. And the gap between the third bases that these players have chose is really quite small, very, very small. Like, by the time the queens are at the edge of that creep, they've only got across like 10 seconds worth of non-creep. It means reinforcement is quick. It means queens can get there much faster, which is the most important thing of this creep. And we can always see that creep highway come out as well. He's going Spire.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. Not what I expected. The Spire place is a bit interesting. I'm not sure if he's seen something where he thinks he's gonna need some Spire units to defend against them, or if he maybe is expecting a second Stargate. Maybe he thinks, oh, I've seen a couple of Oracles and a Void Ray, so clearly he's gonna build a second Stargate here. The Spire, an interesting choice, though. Of course, Mutalisks, Corruptors, not bad choices in the mid game, but does make it a little more difficult to defend his third base, as the Roach count is so low right now. He hasn't built a single Roach, Grant. He's working on speed. He's working on pulse missile attacks, but he hasn't built one Roach this game yet.
A lot of damage coming in. 6 workers have gone down with a combination of the Adepts, and the Oracles also hit the third base at the same time. I believe 1 Oracle did die. Yes, it did. This Void Ray actually might kill this base, Creighton. It is like, I mean, it looks like it's just like a gentle stream. You know, when you've had a couple of beers and you're standing at the urinal, and just a gentle stream. But it's softened this base up massively. And it may even need transfusing. It will very, 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 very slowly regen over time. We do have Lambo right now poking and prodding at the other side of the map. He's going to see all of his Zealots, see all of his ground units. I believe he probably saw the Disruptor as well, which is a big tau. Already 5, 6 Mutmuts on the way here. Mutas, as Sarah would call them. And what's the preparation for this? Phoenix is already beginning. There's the preparation.
This is great from Harstem, man. It's really great. You know, he hasn't seen a Spire yet, doesn't really know it's there, but the Phoenix play going to give him a lot of stability and a lot of opportunity over the course of the game to get damage done. Phoenix, of course, can help clear the map of Overlords. They can pick up Queens in big fights, preventing transfuses, and even in rare cases, picking up your own Disruptors to save them against surrounds from Links and stuff. So I like the Phoenix built in, but more as a utility unit, not necessarily a real fighting unit. I expect 3 or 4 possibly. And then we'll get the move on to something else. Meanwhile, the Mutalisk count continues to grow, getting scarier and scarier, Grant. At 12 now, with 4 more on the way. We say it every time, Grant. Mutalisks basically appear in tiers. Between 5 and 10 Mutalisks is not that scary. They can do a bit of harass. 10 to 15, very scary. And once you get up to like 20 Mutas, you can start facing photon cannons head on, flying on top of Phoenixes, trying to get surrounds on Disruptors and stuff. But you always got to be careful about those Archons. Yeah. What the Mutas are going to do right now is they're going to take over in terms of controlling the map here for Lambo. It's going to be difficult for Harstem to push out because he's going to need not only just a Phoenixes, but a few Archons, most likely to defend against these Mutas. So he's probably just going to sit back on 4 bases for now, whilst Lambo does his best to punish his opponent with these Mutalisks. You can see the Phoenixes sharking here, but if they get caught, if they go down, it becomes difficult because the Mutas, they will win in a straight-up fight, of course. Phoenix is outrange and can micro around here. Prism going to pop out. Prism going to pop to its grave, most likely. Goodbye, Warp Prism, and that's going to shut down. Oh, it lives, but it's such a risk now to push out with that Prism, right? In my opinion, kill it, make a new one. Like, it's too scary. Like, I couldn't drop with a 1 health Prism. The Muta's finding a bit of damage. They are starting to fall down a little bit, though. We've seen 4 die already. If a few Phoenixes go down, and they will, that's not so bad here. Only the 1 Phoenix, actually. Oh, I don't know. 6 Mutas traded out there for 5 workers. It wasn't great, but a big push coming into the third base right now from the ground army of Lambo. Great. Even with slow Banelings, this is still really scary. The Warpits from Harstem are in exactly the right spot here. The Zealots trying to stop these Banelings from getting into the mineral line, and they are going to be able to do it here. Only 1 Baneling makes it in. 11 probes have gone down total, but that's because the Mutas are in the third base doing considerable damage, or the fourth base rather, doing considerable damage to that mineral line. There's not enough. Harstem's army spread a bit too thin, like butter, scraped over too much bread, Grant. Yeah, this is... It's a very strange game so far. For 2 players playing Muta and Phoenix, it's very aggressive. All the Phoenixes have gone down now, though, Creighton. That was hard to say far. Meaning that the Mutas are going to have pretty much complete control of the sky. Phoenixes take a while to reproduce off of 1 Stargate. Mutas can be produced en masse just because of the lava, the way that production works for these two races. This base is still very low, but it's a lot of Roaches, Lings. Baneling speed is nearly done. If Baneling speed was done in that last engagement at the third base, nearly every worker would have died.
So Harstem very lucky that that was not done. I don't know if it was a mistake or intended. It's not my place to say, but Lambo has now hit max. He's got 111 upgrades. He's getting a lot of Banelings. And I'm beginning to worry a little bit for Harstem here with the mute account getting to where it is. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, 13 mutas is still a threatening amount of mutas, Grant. Sometimes Zerg players get down to 5 or 6 mutas and hold on to them for the entire game. They're like, oh, well, it's mutas, I'll keep them for the harassment potential. But really, 5 or 6 mutas isn't going to be enough to do too much. I love that Lambo is slowly throwing these away. He's getting as much counter damage done as he possibly can, keeping Harstem's income and economy artificially low. And these rolling Banelings are going to get some big shots off. Oh, the Disruptor saving the day there. But unfortunately, the mute is clearing out the natural, Grant. He kind of clipped a couple of his own. He put 2 of his own probes in that fight, but it's still just too much. Lambo is all over the map right now. Harstem simply can't defend in 37 locations at the same time.
No, Harstem needed a second Stargate, basically. He needed more Phoenixes so he could take straight up fights against the mutas. It's very difficult to micro against Banelings, Ravagers, and also be constantly moving in and out with your Phoenixes to try and outrange. Harstem down to just 48 probes at this point. His upgrades are slightly better than that of his opponent. He's making 4 probes at a time, but there's already a Greater Spire coming in for Lambo. Harstem is starting to look like he may be in some real trouble here. 20 more Banelings coming in. Creep spread is okay.
That was Tony the Tiger on a moderate day. Like, Tony, how's it going?
Depression. It's
the Baneling count looking good, though. Yeah, you're right. The Baneling count looking good here for Lambo. He's largely on Ling Bane right now. That's where a lot of his army is. 60 Lings out, 22 Banes. But the Queens are up front, and as you said, that creep spread going to help out quite a bit. Look at the distance right now. Both, if I zoom out all the way, the creep spread and the fourth base of Lambo, third base, going to fit onto the same screen here, which is very dangerous. Meaning these Banelings have a lot of play here. And oh my God, if this High Templar doesn't get out of the way, he is going to get in a lot of trouble, friends. Immediate Archon morph there. But Banelings going to wiggle their way through, and Harstem can't afford to lose any more probes like
nice
this.
Yeah, the force field there, saving all of those probes, forcing them into the gas guys. There are a couple of Banelings still loose. Harstem's still got a very good ground army. He's actually up in army supply, and it's very Archon heavy. It's well upgraded at +2/+1, so matching that of our Zerg player. But how many Stalkers are we looking at? 14 without Blink. There's no Blink. There's a Great Aspire done. I think Bloodlord's in the game, right?
Depends really what the positioning looks like, but they definitely have the potential to do so. Remember, of course, we are on double Stargate from Harstem, so we can always swap over to like double Void Ray production if he wants to. So I think this is still a bit of a push here. The Archon army is really what's most scary, right? Because Banelings don't, it takes a zillion Banelings to kill an Archon, especially if the Archons are able to get good shots in the Banelings, or the Disruptor gets good shots in the Banelings. We'll get a decent shot here. Flank from the back from Lambo, though, and the Archon count's still very, very high from Harstem here. Lambo's giving away a lot of Banelings, but I think he may have just enough on the ground to clean this up.
Yeah, Lambo right now has a massive bank. He's doing this, I think, trying to clear up as much as he can in terms of Stalkers and stuff so he can move into Broodlords. I'd be very surprised if that's not his endgame. Actually, I'm wrong because he has now remaxed on Lings and Roaches, maybe feeling confident he can end with what he has. But behind all of this, Harstem's never been able to get off of 4 bases. And if we take a look at his main, then his natural main nearly done, natural down to 10. Third is probably still at 16 efficient workers, 14. So even that's starting to run outgraded. Harstem's money is going to get very, very low very soon. He needs like a miracle at this point because Lambo is up 80 supply. He's got a whole bunch of Banelings rolling in. And unfortunately for all of the Capitan fans in chat, it does look like Lambo will be picking up map 1 here in this best of 3.
Yeah, these Banelings going to roll into the third base and try and find even more damage here. And again, we see massive kills. This time, though, the probe's not pulled, and these +2 Banelings going to get some massive critical damage done as the 4th base goes down, and Harstem GG's out. Grant, Lambo grabbing game number 1.
Yeah. Control from beginning to end, right?
Just looked really solid. It's hard to fault the play. I don't know. It's hard to fault the play of either player. Grant, I say this every cast, but I like StarCraft games where it's not obvious like why one player lost. Oh, the Zealot wasn't in the door and the Lings got in. Game over. Just a mistake from our Protoss player. That game though, I think both players doing a fairly decent job. Some good tech rotations. And Harstem maybe just not quite aggressive enough with his army in the mid game, allowing Lambo to take control of the tempo of the game. Overall, though, Lambo with a good win, Harstem with a fairly decent game still.
Yeah, I think the Mutalisks were the turning point. They did catch Harstem off guard. He wasn't ready for as many as there were, and then they traded Mutas. They traded Mutas and Phoenixes a lot. Ultimately, the production of Mutas was way more than the production of Phoenixes, which meant there was more Mutas, not enough Phoenixes. Mutas killed all the workers. GG, well played.
Yeah. Those were great Muta plays, by the way, from Lambo. Yeah, I didn't talk about that enough during the game. I think I was just like, yep, the Muta's still in, killing more. Those Mutas had artificially deflated Harstem's economy so much, Grant, killing off the third, killing off the main. Even, I don't know if you noticed, they focused down a pylon to depower his +2 upgrade, his Robo for a long while there in the mid game as well, just really throwing him off his rhythm. So great plays from both of our players. And I think we're ready to get into our game number 2 here, Grant. Juggernaut. Going to be our next map. How do you feel about this map because you're a Protoss main yourself, right? How do you feel about this map as a Protoss player?
It's a pretty easy map to stay safe on once again. It's very, very long, meaning queen walks can be a little bit difficult, but it is also, because it's so long and narrow, if you can set up like a creep highway with Overlord, you can still queen walk on it. I don't hate it. I do feel like Harstem can sit pretty safe on this map and feel content to just macro. It seems Harstem's goal is probably to move towards a Golden Armada, to get carriers, to get High Templars and Archons. He could never do that in this game. In that last game, because the Mutas just kind of ravaged him, and he had to produce more ground units and more Phoenixes to deal with them. But we're now into a second map. There's a lot to play for. Lambo is in good form. I must say, since he's joined the Shopify Rebellion, he has been a different player, a different caliber of player. I always thought, you had like Serral, Reyna. You can't see me, but if Serral and Reyna are 1 and 2, Lambo was 3 or 4 pegs below. And now I'd say he's only 2 pegs below. Like, he's really catching up. And if he can improve all of his matchups, he could certainly start contesting tournaments like these. I'd love to see a big win, not just for Lambo, but for Shopify Rebellions. And also, if he wins, he'll cast less and I'll get more jobs.
Completely unselfish motives there, Grant. I love it. Important to note, of course, Lambo currently sitting at the top of Group D, a 3-0 match score, and he has not yet dropped a single map, Grant. He is a perfect 6-0, make it 7-0 as of this last game. So his opponent has a lot of work to do, and that opponent in the bottom left-hand side of Juggernaut to LE is the red Protoss player reppin' Team Liquid. He is, of course, Harstem.
And his opponent in the top right, he leads the series 1-0. It is our Blue Zerg player representing Germany and Shopify Rebellion. The rebel himself, it's Lambo, who grew a really big beard.
Shame we don't have caster cams here on the B stream. If we had a production team to help us out with that, it would be really cool. Maybe for DreamHack Summer, we can get a production member from ESL to help us get some player cams or even interviews. It'd be really cool to have here on the B stream. It'd be a lot of fun, I think. But, I still love the fact that DreamHack provides us with enough action to cover not just the A and B stream, but Grant, you remember as well as I do, day 1 of North America yesterday for us, there were 4 streams all going on at the same time. I mean, if you want, you could not get more StarCraft if you were in the Matrix and you got that back of the neck injection where you're like, I'm a StarCraft master. Like, you would have Keanu Reeves saying that to you. That's the only way you could get more StarCraft than right now.
I know Kung Fu. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the Matrix now.
I know StarCraft. That's the phrase. I've only seen the Matrix once. Sorry.
I just thought I'd leave you to simmer with the fact that you've only seen the Matrix once and therefore are dead to me. So, standard openings here from both of our players. I do expect to see a Stargate once again here from Harstem. I do think it's his most comfortable build. Adepts coming in nice and early as well. Cybernetics core is done, so we should be seeing that tech come down as the gas reaches 150, if that is going to be the option that Harstem takes. There we go. Everything very normal for Lambo. He's getting queens. Once again, he was forced to take his third as his natural. He'll be throwing down that base as I am speaking right now in his natural. So everything is very normal so far. I'm not seeing anything that gives me any impressions of something crazy. Probably Void Rays Oracle again, or excuse me, Oracle Void Rays once again here from Harstem. He may opt to go for a couple of Oracles early instead to try and find a bit of damage, but it's just all, we're in the calm before the storm.
Grant, I just realized something. Hero Woak in chat just mentioned that not only do we have the cutest casters, but all 4 people in this match right now are all like semi-professional, or we're professional casters, and Lambo and Harstem are like semi-professional casters for ESL because they covered some of the streams last time.
They did.
During during the last big ESL
season
event.
Finals, yeah.
This is great, man. This is like a caster party up in here. Obviously, Lambo and Harstem, 2 really well-respected community members, and I've never met them personally, but every interaction I've had with either of them they are just lovely humans.
They're fantastic.
Makes me so happy, Grant.
Yeah.
I watch a couple other esports, and very often you'll hear the commentators slip in a snide remark about like, well, he's got a jerk off stream, or he's known for not getting along with his teammates or whatever.
Nope.
It just doesn't happen really with StarCraft. I feel like I very rarely have to commentate a StarCraft player where I'm like, well, he's kind of a dick, but at least he plays well. Like, never the case.
I mean, I've met, I would say, at this point through my travels, pretty much everyone, especially at the upper echelon. I've met everyone, and there's 1 or 2, but they're not, especially of the top-notch, top-tier players. Lambo and Harstem are what you see on stream. They're the nicest guys. Lambo is a super genius about StarCraft, like just ridiculously so.
Oh yeah, he's scary.
I also, my first ever offline Premier event, Asus ROG, I cast with both of these guys because DeMuslim nearly died.
Right.
And we had to grab some emergency casters because Ben ate a pear and had an allergic reaction, which was hilarious.
Poor Ben.
And they, like, I've never, like, I said it again earlier and I say it again today, I'm kind of dumb. It's kind of my brand. It's what I do. But these guys they understand this game at such an incredible level. And seeing them face off is always exciting for me. When I saw this in the bracket, I didn't think we'd get this game. So I was very happy that we have. And I hope we get a map 3. This game so far is looking pretty normal. It is Void Ray 2 Oracle. Same opening here from Harstem. Lambo as well, droning up like crazy. He has a Roach Warren. How many gases is he on? 1, just 2? Okay, I don't think it's going to be Muta this game then. If it is, he has those. Okay, it's going to be Muta.
Likely Muta here, but of course with 4 gases you can also go 5 gases. Yeah, maybe Muta here. Also possibly you go for some sort of crazy Roach Nidus play with the lair down this early, but I think you're absolutely right, Grant. Spire, a much more likely choice. The Oracles get a bit of damage here at the 3rd base, chased away by the Queens, but the Robo Bay already down for Harstem, and a long time ago as well. That combined with the fact that he's very very modest number of gateways, just sitting at 4 gateways right now once these 2 new ones finish up. And we're going to see a highly technical build here from Harstem. It does look like he wants to take advantage of his micro here in this game.
Yeah. It's still going to be difficult. He has to adjust from game 1. Game 1, the mutas did too much. Game 2, we are going to have mutas again. We haven't seen any Phoenix production yet, but also Harstem has seen nothing. He hasn't seen many roaches. He hasn't seen many lings out on the map. He's now going to go in. Did he see the Spire? Yes. He now knows exactly. Phoenix production shipped again almost immediately. Maybe a quicker second Stargate would be my one. If I were to make a point of, he's going to go charge instead of blink again as well. I'm a little bit concerned. He saw it, but he's not doing anything to react, and it's going to be scary because Muta's going to be here in less than a minute, Graham.
He's got Templar Archives as well, which is going to help out, I think. Once he gets a couple Archons in the field, going to make it a little bit easier. You can park a couple Archons at your bases, or honestly just use them to pressure and force the Mutalisks to stay back on Lambo's side of the base. The fact that you see the Baneling Nest and the Spire and the Roach Warren, I think it's a little bit difficult to sort of predict what Lambo's going to go for. He's such a versatile player, Grant. And since Harstem really hasn't got much economic damage done with those Oracles yet, just a handful of drones going down. I think Lambo still is very largely in control of this game and can sort of choose his own adventure, as it were. 10 mutas coming out, but Baneling speed and Roach speed on the way. Grant, he's got a little bit of everything here. A bit of a kitchen sink build from Lambo for right now.
Yeah, I mean, it worked in game 1. If it works once, you may as well try it twice. Those first Mutalisks going to be popping very, very soon. And I'm still very concerned. The anti-air is a couple of Archons right now. Harstem even needs to just throw down like 10 photon cannons, which is obviously quite inefficient, or start Phoenix production. The Phoenix production's so late. There's 10 mutas already on the field, and the first Phoenix is only just going to be popping, and I'm afraid one Phoenix does not win that matchup, especially if there's roaches and stuff forcing micro elsewhere. We do have a Revelation keeping track of these Mutmuts, but this is going to be scary. Harstem has to weather the storm better than he did in the first game. He does have a battery and a couple of Stalkers here. No battery here as well, but no cannon just yet. The cannons will help a lot.
Yeah, cannon's going to be very useful. I think a lot of us are like, oh, cannon's sort of a last-ditch effort against all these Mutalisks, there's no way, but really whittling down the health of these Mutalisks just a little bit, very important. Keeping them low, forcing them to evacuate a little bit more quickly can be so dangerous. And then, of course, if you get very lucky, you can trick them into sitting next to one of these Archons, and the Archons get a big shot off. That splash damage from the Archons does so much damage to the Mutas because, remember, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Mutalisk hitboxes in this game, most flyer hitboxes, don't bounce up against each other, so you can stack an almost infinite number of flying units on top of each other, which means that units that do slight AoE, like tanks, like Archons, are going to be able to get tanks can't hit flying units, but like Archons, can hit those flying units and get a lot more splash damage done because they're so clumped up together. Big push from Lambo coming up, though. This is dangerous.
Yeah, and again, the working out of Harstem has been slightly halted, and we do have the Queens joining the fray here. They do go down a little bit early. That disruptor, oh my god, those splits by Lambo. Wow. Hello, Cyril, is this you? It is very, very nice, and we see Lambo moving forward. He's going to be able to take down this base, probably with relative ease at this point. There's just too much on the ground here and not enough for Harstem. Lambo's at 40 supply already, and Lambo came to play. He's currently undefeated in maps, looking to quite possibly close it out and go 4-0-8-0. This is such a big pickup. At the other side of the map, though, Harstem has found a lot of damage himself, creating with a prism.
Yeah, that prism being so nice. And this might be his saving grace in this game. The Zealots chasing away those drones, 13 drones going down, but he hasn't lost any infrastructure. This War Prism's going to go down, and eventually those Zealots will get cleaned up here. So 13 drones traded up at Lambo, still ahead economically, still ahead on bases, still able to grab this top 11 o'clock base as well, Grant. And the fact that he's got a significant income lead, I think, at this point, is still testament to the fact that he's done so much work, forcing Harstem to rebuild that third base. And even the battle report showing us the last game, or the last fight, going slightly in Lambo's favor, despite him losing an awful lot of units. His Mutalisks, by the way, still almost all on the map, Grant.
Yeah, the Mutas have been a problem for Harstem. They really have in the series so far, and it's a shame because I would have liked to have seen, you know, a slightly better, a slightly closer series so far. Of course, it's not over. Harstem is down 40 supply. There's one Adept. Maybe it will kill a hatchery on its own. Who knows? Oh, I mean, I know, and it's not going to. The Muta's coming in once again, and as I said, just the one Stargate is a problem. There are two out now, but they're not producing, so he's making a second one and then really not using it. Super Battery comes in, but it doesn't matter because it just gets taken out. The cannon as well. There's too much here. All of those workers will die, as will all of those roaches. Harstem's army, and I said it in the last game, is very strong still. Archons and incredibly strong with support behind them. We even have a Contaminate here to stop more Phoenixes coming out. Very cute by Lambo. But Lambo's army supply 112 to 79. His upgrades even. His army is good because he still has these Mutalisks. Of course, the Mutalisks never want to take a direct fight, but what they're doing is forcing the army to split. And that is what Lambo wants, because as long as the Phoenixes aren't there to lift, or some of the Archons are further back defending, then Banelings, Roaches, and Ravagers will rule the day for Lambo. 70 supply differential. Harstem going for it. One final stand.